What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition to my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to talk about Batman and Robin, issue number 19. This one is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson with art by Javi Fernandez, and this is part 6 of the Memento storyline. Hard to believe we've been doing this thing for the past 6 months right now, but I'm really liking what Phil Kennedy Johnson is doing with the title. I do enjoy the more horror aspects with Javi Fernandez's artwork, and there's some interesting stuff going on here. We actually get, as I've kind of realized with this series kind of going on, Bruce is really jealous in this thing. We don't really get to see jealous Batman all that much, but he's jealous of Bashar and the fact that Damian's kind of, there's a lot of things he sees in Bashar that Bruce wishes he kind of saw in him, and he's very paranoid. He's still feeling the effects of the Gravedigger's poppy, and we get kind of a really kind of messed up ending to this issue that happens, and Bruce's paranoia, which he's been thinking Bashar was all these other things, but as the issue kind of unfolds, we kind of realize that that was just it. It was a bit of jealousy and paranoia on his part. Now, with what kind of happens here, we see kind of the mistrust building between him and Damian because he basically bugs him at one point, which is something that's actually been going on in Detective Comics, which I do kind of acknowledge here. But let's go ahead and summarize what happens in this issue. So, opening the issue, we see Memento there, and Memento is basically, like I said, you take the Crooked Man with the Babadook and you kind of fuse them into one. Memento is a legit kind of creepy antagonist, and a lot of elements of this issue kind of remind me of some of those Nightmare Scarecrow sequences you would see in the Batman Arkham games. In fact, there's a moment where somebody's like, "It's the freaking Bat!" Even says it in there, so I got kind of a kick out of that too. I wonder if Phil Kennedy Johnson pulled a little bit of influence from those games while writing this particular issue. So Damian kind of theorizes that Memento may be in one place, but Bruce tells him, please, whatever you do, do not go to fight Memento alone. You wait for me. I tried to fight him when I was your age. It ended poorly. So yeah, we got that going on there. Babs was there investigating the stuff with Bashar, and she's just like, look, man, we do see some sort of real kind of League of Assassins type connection, but it's not necessarily a direct one. I mean, Ra's had his, fingers and all sorts of other things, or however, he had connections to all sorts of different things. It doesn't necessarily mean that the people who were involved with these companies or whatever knew that Ra's was kind of there. So he's like, Bashar's manipulating him, I don't know, possibly on behalf of Talia or the League of Assassins. It might even be connected to Memento. And Barbara's just like, you're sounding kind of jealous, Bruce. Meanwhile, Damian, who realizes something's kind of off with his father because he's been seeing all these crazy hallucinations as a result of the Gravedigger's poppy, contacts the detective from Scott Yard, Lautrec, and asks her, hey, look, there seems to be something going on with Batman. I'm going to keep investigating what's going on your end. He even talks about the effects it had on Lucy, and she's like, who's Lucy? Oh, the monkey? Yeah, the macaque. So, Damian adopted the pet monkey or whatever, or they call it, whatever you want to call it, and has been kind of caring for her, even gave her the name of Lucy. I thought that was kind of sweet. So I like that we showcase Damian's love for animals in this thing. I do like how they do showcase him being a little bit more mature in certain situations. The old Damian would have kind of snapped at things a lot sooner, but here he's being a lot more restrained in this thing. And we go to find out that Scarecrow is just kind of really messed up as a result of the Gravedigger's poppy. I mean, he's been hit with fear toxin before, but this stuff is on a whole other kind of level that he's been hit with. So she's going to investigate things. Meanwhile, Bruce is there. He goes to talk to Damian. He's like, look, let's have dinner together, just you and me. I care about you. I don't want you to leave. And he's like, look, let's just go out to dinner. You go do your thing tonight. And you know what? The chessboard thing that I brought up all this time ago, let's go ahead and reset it, and we'll be good to go. And Damian's like, oh, okay, I like that very much, Dad. Thank you so much. But we come to find out that Bruce actually puts, he kind of utilized his affection as means to cover, to kind of plant, a wire of sorts on Damian's shoes, rather unsuspectedly, and Damian kind of doesn't even realize it, and she's just like, you're doing something like this in Detective Comics right now under Tom Taylor, which you've covered on the channel here. It's not exactly the best of looks you can kind of go for. So as he's listening in, Barbara feels kind of unclean about the whole thing. Bashar is there, and she's just like, this doesn't really feel right to me. But as he's investigating, Damian steps in something. He's like, oh, let me check my shoe. And he realizes he had the wire tracker on there too. And he's like, huh, interesting. And so he kind of drops it and throws it on the ground. But during the course where they're going down in the elevator, something happens. And Bashar wanted to go one way, but then he gets brought down all the way, and Bruce realizes something is going wrong. And then Memento is there, and Damian's kind of seeing the nightmares of the girl that he couldn't save, and he kills Bashar, like, right in front of Damian. So the added trauma of somebody who was just genuinely kind to him just gets kind of, like, added even more so. And he goes to kind of take him on, and Bruce arrives at the scene again, still hallucinating from the effects of the Gravedigger's poppy and the influence of Memento, and comes and even sees, like, a haunting, like, deathly image of Bashar, and he's got your son now. And that's kind of the end of the issue right there. So Bruce's paranoia, like, I guess the wire thing he had on Damian, in a way, like, it kind of led to him, like, you know, to try and rescue him, but he was kind of late for the situation. But his paranoia was, like, not exactly right, unless Bashar's faking it or something like that, which, I mean, he just got his throat slit right in front of him, so I don't know if he's really going to come back from that, or why he would, like let all this stuff kind of fall on that, unless it's some really elaborative scheme. Chances are Bashar is pretty much dead, and Bruce got kind of the wrong guy due to his, like, paranoia and a bit of jealousy too, which I thought was interesting. So I'm digging what they're doing with this thing. I like the detective aspects. We're showcasing that with both characters. Even Bruce is kind of going to some, like, kind of paranoia type places. I mean, he's Batman. He's the most paranoid member of all. Like, he's always trying to think of, okay, what's really going on here in certain situations. And Damian sees his, like, affection, like, okay, we're going to have some good father and son bonding type moments. But Bruce almost, like, kind of takes advantage of that. And it just feels like it's not like the cleanest Bruce has been. And even Barbara's just kind of calling him out for some of this stuff. Like, this is still your kid, Bruce. Like, you're kind of going to, like, insane kind of links due to your paranoia, and also, like, some of the effects of what he's been kind of hit with as well have really been kind of lingering on him. So the threat level is definitely there with Memento. I don't exactly know who Memento is going to end up being, but at the same time, I'm like, it could be really anyone. I feel like we haven't really explored enough of, like, who Memento, like, in terms of, like, suspects is going to be with this thing. But I do feel the threat level, and I don't know how many more issues we have left in this first arc, but I'm really digging it so far. I think what they're able to do with this thing, the relationship between Bruce and Damian is kind of well orchestrated. It doesn't necessarily feel like the same type of regression we've seen before. In fact, it's more so like Bruce's paranoia effects of the Gravedigger's poppy and Damian's kind of fears and insecurities as a result of what happened to that girl. And also him just kind of, like, dealing with somebody who's just kind of that he kind of looked up to, once again getting injured in the way, with him unable to really kind of do something about it, like, in this type of situation. So Bashar dying, like, that's going to play a big factor on him. Like, even, like, bits of it kind of felt like him seeing what happened to Alfred, another mentor of his, like, meet their demise. So a lot of, like, heartbreaking kind of stuff happening within this issue. So I'm really digging what they're doing. I can't wait for the next issue. Sucks we have to wait a month for it, but I feel like we're doing pretty good with the main Batman titles right now. I like this. I do overall like what Taylor is doing with Detective Comics. We're supposed to get Batman Hush 2, which is coming out this month, so that's going to be a pretty big one. I guess I got to reread Hush to see, like, what I kind of give a bit of a refresher of what happened within that storyline. And yeah, so pretty good stuff overall. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about this particular issue. I got one more DC comic review for the week, which is the latest issue of DC vs. Vampires World War V. But I do want to kind of reread that one again before I go ahead and get started talking about it. But in the meantime, what did you think of Batman and Robin issue number 19? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit that bell for notifications, all the other fun stuff. And as always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.